All right, welcome to area versus perimeter day 2. As you remember from last night's homework, we focused primarily on perimeter and learned the two formulas for measuring the perimeter of rectangles and squares. Tonight we're going to focus on area, talk about what area is, as well as learn the formula to help calculate the area of rectangles and squares. All right, before we take a look at the formula though, let's do a little recap of what we discussed last night. So remember that perimeter is the measurement of the distance around a shape. And we talked about that the word rim is tucked in there, which is easy to remember. So we're measuring the rim or the outside edge. And to do that, we are going to add all four sides together. Now area is the measurement of the space inside a shape, the surface, everything that fills up the inside of the shape. And to find area, we are going to be using multiplication. So let's go ahead and take a look at the formula. All right, so I mentioned last night that you are used to, from third grade, when you were solving area problems, you had a rectangle or a square or a triangle with squares inside. And what you did to solve area was you would just go and count how many squares were inside the shape. Well, in fourth grade, you're not going to have the squares anymore, but they are important to think about. Area is measured in square units, meaning the number of unit squares needed to cover the surface. So for example, if these were inches, we would say that each of these is a square inch inside. And so the reason that the thinking about the squares is important is because when we go to record our answer and we include the unit, we have to say units squared with the little squared symbol, which I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so again, if this was third grade, what you would do is you would sit and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd count all the squares inside the rectangle. But like I've said, you are not going to have squares to count anymore. You're going to need to use the mathematical formula. So let's figure out the length and width based on the squares that are here. So width is 1, 2, 3, and we'll say inches. And length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll say 8 inches. Now again, if this were last year, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And you would report that the area of this rectangle was 24 inches squared. But as I've said, we are not going to deal with squares this year. We're going to look at just a regular rectangle. And you will have measurements alongside of it just like this. And so your formula for solving area is area equals length times width. So if I were to plug in my numbers as we did last night, plug in the information I know for the variables, I would say area equals length, which is 8 inches, times width, and I know that width is 3 inches. So to solve the area of this rectangle, I would say area equals 8 times 3. And 8 times 3 is 24. Now remember, I can't forget my unit, so this is 24 inches squared. There's the squared symbol. It's a little 2 that goes above the unit. So inches, centimeters, millimeters, miles, feet, with the little 2 next to it says 24 inches squared. Please write this formula in your notes so you have it down. Area equals length times width. All right, let's go ahead and do one practice problem before I send you to take your quiz. So taking a look at this rectangle, I have my width is 12 and my length is 3. So here's my formula. Area equals length times width. So I'm going to fill in what I know, replace the variables. Area equals Here's my length, 3 times 12. And I know that 3 times 12 is 36. So I would say that area equals 36. But don't forget I need to include my unit. So 36 inches squared. That squared is very, very important. 36 inches squared is my final answer. Okay, your wrap-up is the same as last night. Please log into Edmodo and take the Area versus Perimeter Day 2 quiz. Again, 6 problems. Doesn't count for a grade, just helps me to see how you're understanding the lesson. And please post any questions you have in the reply section of the video post on Edmodo, or you can direct message me, however you're more comfortable, and we'll go over any questions that you guys still have in class tomorrow morning. All right, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.